Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Early Birds podcast. It is Saturday, a little after 9 a.m., and we have a special guest today, Brody Robinson, D1 athlete. My friend, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you so much for coming up here, just being part of this. This is a lot of fun, especially being able to talk to the youth, to the young men out there about the journey, what it's taken for you to get to this level. So, sir, if you could just tell our audience here who you are, what you stand for, and how you got in the position you're in.
Well, first, thank you for having me. But, my name is Brody Robinson, like you said. I'm from Houston, Texas. I went to Houston Christian my senior year, and I'm at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga now. Played basketball there, just living good.
And you're 19 years old, is that correct?
Yes, sir, 19.
19 years old. Okay, so what I like to talk about on this show here, it's more about that mindset, that grind, just being up early, dialing in, getting to that next level. So for you to be that D1 athlete that you are, to stepping up to the plate, there's got to be a lot that goes into that, right?
Yes, sir, a ton.
Walk me through just some of the disciplines that you have that maybe some other people out there don't have to deal with on a daily basis.
I would just say putting time in the gym over anything else. I would say, late nights, early mornings, sometimes in college, now that I'm in college, there's a lot of parties, a lot of distractions, but, you always got to find what you're supposed to do and your priorities, and that's what I do.
So you talked about priorities, obviously, and for you, your priorities have probably changed already so much over your life. Now, something that happened to you was you weren't sure at the time, right, if you were going to get that shot at D1, which you already had a backup plan, right? You were going to go to the Defenders. You were going to make it happen one way or another. It's that just not quit mentality.
Yeah.
You not quitting, right? You actually looking and going, no. Yes, maybe I don't have offers right now, but who cares about that? It's about that next level. How do you teach your brain to actually think like that, where you don't lose confidence, but instead you go, all right, that's fine. I didn't get it now. I'm going to blow through this door.
I think it was really the people around me that helped me a lot, just kept telling me that to keep working and I would be all right. And I believed them and I believed in myself. And I always knew that I was capable of playing D1 and I knew the skill was always there, but I just needed the platform. That was the biggest thing.
So talk about high school a little bit, right? Not too far removed from high school. I'm sure you're one of the top athletes, if not the top athlete at your high school. Is that a fair statement to have?
I would say so.
Okay, that's a fair statement. So going through that, just talking to you a little bit prior to this, you're very humble, and you don't have that attitude of like, oh, look at me, I'm D1. But in high school, right, you're getting all that attention. You're playing multiple sports, which you mentioned, right? You're playing soccer, you're playing basketball, you're playing football. You could have basically done whatever you wanted. How do you keep yourself at bay to where you're getting this extra attention, but you're like, okay, I got to make sure that I just stay even keel?
I just know that's not the person I am. My parents raised me right for sure, and it's just I'm always going to be the same guy, whether it was D1 or not, My whole high school career, I actually wasn't D1, so it actually happened. I got my offer after. So, I was just humbled throughout high school no matter what, but I'm going to be the same person no matter what.
Did you want that D1 in high school?
Oh, yes, sir, for sure.
Yeah.
I would love to walk around, knowing that I'm D1 in high school. It was a little bit of a stressful year for sure.
And that's that stress, right? So with you coming into that school, right, every single day, people not knowing, because people look at you, right, and they're like, okay, wow, this is Brody. He's crushing it. He's playing 3 sports, 4 sports, whatever it is. He's doing great. He's really crushing life. But for you, in the back of your head, obviously you want that D1. So you're struggling a little bit where it's like, all right, I don't have it yet, but you still got to show up. You still got to put a smile on your face. What do people not know about that side of you when you weren't getting the D1 offers? What was happening to your mindset? How did you keep it so powerful?
Well, I actually stopped playing all those sports at the beginning of high school, my freshman year. So, I really wanted to focus on basketball because that was what I loved, and I knew that I had an opportunity to be really good. But in the back of my mind, I knew that I could do these things, and I always told my friends what I was going to do. And my friends believed in me, my family believed in me. But I think what people didn't realize is that, I was super stressed out. I was like, am I going to get this? What's going to happen? What's my future going to be? And I feel like them not knowing that, but me acting like I knew kind of helped me.
I love that you said that, because that's exactly what it is. I didn't learn that till later in life. I'm first generation. My parents were born overseas, right. And there's just things that they weren't able to teach me. Not their fault, just didn't.
Right.
It took me a few years to understand that, because it's like you're acting as if, right? I'm acting like I got this already.
Yeah.
But people don't know, right? I go home, I'm sitting down in my bed, and I'm like, man, I want more. I want more so bad, and I'm gonna put in the work. By the way, don't just give me more. Don't just give me nothing, right? I earn everything I have. How much of everything that you have you earned?
Everything.
And why is that so important to you?
It's everything to me, honestly, because I've worked out so much my whole life, and I feel like I'm already at a disadvantage to certain things, certain qualities, but I use those things to my advantage now, and I learned that growing up that I could do that. But I mean, it's everything.
Growing up, you've seen a lot of different people in and out of your life, right? I'm sure people from wrong influences trying to get at you, obviously great influences. You have a great support team around you. But for you talked about it's everything, right? Earning it is everything. There are so many people out there, especially today, especially young men. It's that victim mentality. Oh, I didn't get it because my coach hates me. I've heard that. That was me too in high school. I've done that before. Sorry, coach. I know it wasn't you. I know it was me. I had to work harder. But that happens a lot where it's the victim mentality. How do you keep those people away from you? And you say, no, it's not about being a victim, okay? I don't need that energy in my life. How do you keep them at bay and just ignore them?
Honestly, I don't push those type of people away. I still keep them in the circle because I sort of feel like myself, it's good to have, victims and people who believe in you. So I think it's very important to, have a mixture of both. My coach, Teddy Wheeler, who's a great coach. He was my high school coach, and he's also my trainer back home. He always tells me that someone has to be the hammer and someone has to be the nail always. And sometimes you'll be the nail and sometimes you'll be the hammer. So
hey, that's some really good advice. Right. So you like to keep those folks around you, but you're leading the charges, right? So when they're coming over there, you're the one that's like, okay, this has got to stop. Are you checking those people a lot that are in your life? How do you check them in a way to where it's like you're obviously being respectful, but you're also like, hey, man, you got to stop doing what you're doing. How do you keep them in line like that?
I feel like just showing what I can do, like proving them wrong. I think proving people wrong is something I've done my whole life. So I like having those people around. So people who didn't believe in me and I can prove them wrong, I feel like it's like a stepstone for me. I love doing it. It's probably more satisfying than having the people believe in me prove them right.
And you know what's crazy? You don't do it from a place of hate.
No, I don't.
I can see that in you right now. So for me, I used to do it from a place of hate. And I'll be real, it's when I used to have people, like when I dropped out of school and I used to have my friends like, you're dumb. What are you doing? That made, I was, okay, yeah, no problem. All right, I'm dumb. Okay, cool. Watch me work 18 hours a day.
Right.
But I did it from the worst place possible, where now I try to do everything from a place of love because I know what I'm capable of. I know that I'm able to lift people around me. How did you learn that? I mean, come on. That's crazy to me that you're already thinking like that as such a young man.
I mean, it just comes from really the same people that were telling me I wasn't going to be D1 are now, commenting on my Instagram posts, liking my stuff, reposting everything. So it's like, people just like to follow trends and, when they see other people saying I'm not going to be this and, maybe they don't think it. That's okay if they don't think that. But me proving them wrong and now them being cool with me is something that, like, it stands out to me.
My mentor, he taught me this because he's the one that helped me kick that bad habit where I was like just resentful to people that were like hating me. And whatever I posted, like when I bought a new car, for instance, and I took everything down because I learned my lesson early. I'd buy a real nice car and then I'd post that because I wanted people to see. But I didn't post from a place of love. I posted because I wanted my friends, my friends. Hey, look, right? I'm the idiot, right? Look at this. Look at this car. And then he taught me. He said, listen to me, John. He said, you need to stop doing that. He said, you need to start working your life and living your life for people that want to see you win. They're the ones that deserve your energy, the people that want to see you win, not the people that want to see you lose. Don't spend your time putting your energy into those type of people. Put it into the ones that want to see you win.
Right.
And, man, that changed my entire life because he's right. Why am I trying to do stuff for people that don't even want to see me succeed? I got to figure out those people that want to see me have a victory and get close to them there. So for you, walking in now you're playing in front of thousands and thousands of people. You got your shot playing at the D1 level, coming into your sophomore year. We talked a little bit about it. What was that feeling like, playing point guard, getting on the court in front of all those fans at the D1 level?
I don't think anything compares to it, honestly. I mean, it's like I really turned dreams into reality, and it was something that I loved and, it's hard for me to even explain. Honestly, it really is. It's hard to put into words, but man, I just love it so much, and it's a feeling you can't explain until you're on the court.
Why do you think some people that go through this, end up not being able to step up to that plate, where you come up to that plate and you're swinging for the fences and you're hitting homers left and right. And even if you don't care, because you're coming back up the next time around and you're going to swing again. Why do you think a lot of other folks deal with that stress and then they end up collapsing and folding? What do you think happens to them?
I feel like it's just a mentality. Having a killer mentality is something huge. I mean, growing up, my dad was always a Kobe fan, and so I was a Kobe fan. And actually, when Kobe retired, and you'd ask my dad who's his favorite NBA player, he would still say Kobe. So I feel like, watching Kobe, and I feel like I've just always had that it factor, I guess, to like never get nervous in the moment. And I've been there before, so I'm not nervous in any moment.
How do you keep yourself at bay like that? Is it the preparation? Is it the focus? Is
Knowing,
it just your mindset?
Yeah, knowing I've been in the gym, knowing I've shot this shot thousands of times. I mean, the same things that I do in practice and late at night and early in the mornings, I'm doing in the game, so it's nothing to be afraid of.
And, we talked about this a little bit. So your average, like in terms of minutes, right, playing in high school, playing at the college level, call it 20, 30, 40, whatever it is, right, minute-wise. What people don't understand, the part that people want to skip, right? People love to see the highlight reels.
Right.
People, we talk about it a lot now. It's a highlight culture right now, right?
Yeah, it is for sure.
Big time, which is honestly, I think there's good and bad to it in terms of the sport, because all you're seeing is the highlights. But what it does to a lot of young people out there is when you're seeing the highlights, you think, oh, I can get there right away.
Right.
What they don't know is those early morning gym sessions.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. How long does it take? How many hours are you putting in for you to get out there on the court and actually perform? How many hours are you putting in prior to that?
Like every day?
Every single day.
Man, I don't even know. Maybe like 6 hours a day.
Every single day,
and that's
6
like,
hours.
Basketball, shooting, and also lifting. I mean, lifting is also a huge thing in basketball, but that's something I've been working on myself. But basketball-wise, I mean, three workouts a day, maybe even 4 sometimes.
There's a stat that came out. They said to be like an expert at something, to be great at something, it requires basically 18 minutes a day for an entire year. You said 6 hours.
Yeah.
He said 6 hours a day that he has to put in just to make sure he gives his best for those 30, 40, 20, whatever minutes that he's getting that opportunity. 6 hours a day. Ask yourself that question. How many hours are you putting into practice before you go out there to do the real thing? I bet you'd be surprised that you're not doing as much as you need to do. This young man's doing 6 hours a day just to completely step his game up every single day. That's a testament to who you are as a human being. Right. And that's not easy to do. That discipline. Now, especially you, young man, out playing college now. You said the distractions coming your way, the partying, all the other stuff that comes along with college life. Dad's here, so I'll keep a little PG, you know. So getting that through that college life, right? How do you keep those distractions just off to the side and you keep your focus, but also making sure that you do have still a little bit of fun, right? You don't want to be cooped up all the time. How do you separate that and realize that, okay, I've had enough fun, done with this, back to what I got to do to accomplish my goals?
It's really good to have a really good balance of everything. You don't always want to overdo basketball to a point where you don't want to do it anymore. And you also don't want to overdo partying because you can lose sight of, what's at task. But I would say, just my mentors and like my dad, my mom, and even my older brother, they really caved the path for me. My dad's taught me a lot from his experiences, and my older brother, I mean, he's in college as well, and he's taught me and told me, just stay on my grind and stay out of the way, and that's what I've been doing.
And, for you, it's like that temptation. I really think so much about temptation, especially, again, we talked about it, social media culture, right? The TikTok, the Instagram. I see it every day. I'm 31, and I'm swiping through, right?
Yeah,
Swiping through, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. You know what I mean? You see something awesome happen. You see some of the NBA players, they're going out sometimes, not always doing the right things, but they're flashing their jewelry.
Right.
They're out in the club. They're looking good. You see the kicks, although I think we got real good kicks on today.
Yeah, I think we do.
Between the two of us, so we stepped up there. Yeah. But you see all that, and for you in the back of your head, you have a great support team that's like, listen, Brody, you got to stay on the right task. This might be cool. This might be cool, but this isn't everything. Yeah. It's not about this. It's about your goals. It's about your focus. It's about proving to the world that you are not built like everybody else.
Right.
You are built differently. And that to me is the most important thing. And for you to have such an understanding of that at such a young man is something that is I can't even express to you how incredible it is, because I've ran into so many people. I've brought on and hired so many people that were in your boat that just went down a different path, man.
Thank you.
And I just think that's just a cool testament to you.
Thank you so much.
I want to tap into your mind a little bit, okay? I want to tap in. I got a couple of highlights here, okay?
Right.
Now, what I want you to try to explain is you're making these decisions in a split second.
All right.
And those are the 6 hours a day. And some people always tell me, oh, it's hard to make decisions. I always tell them it's not hard to make decisions. You're just worried about the consequences. Making decisions is not hard, right? You know what you want to do. But what you start doing is, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? And I believe any strong athlete doesn't have that. They're just like, time to make a decision, time to make it fast. Could be wrong, right? Or could be right.
Yeah, could be right.
So how do you make those decisions so fast before we get into this a little bit?
Just knowing, the work that I've done, knowing that I know where people are going to be in spots. And it's always like a read. It's a read before you make a play, Just scanning the floor is what we've been told in the gym, Like I said, Teddy Wheeler, he's a trainer back home. His son played at Kentucky. Now he's actually committed to Washington. Congrats, Xavier. And, he's just a mind of the game. He knows so much basketball. And being in the gym with him every single day is something that, I just installed in my head. And I know where people are going to be without them moving it. And it's just on certain things, and you just start to know basketball and you start to learn it more. And so it's really just playing basketball. The more you do, the more you get from it.
So I have a few clips here. These are highlights at 2022. It's called Most Underrated Guard in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, Most Underrated Guard in Texas. And I love that because it stays true to what you said, which is like people have been doubting you forever. Doesn't bother you at all because you know what you're made of. You know what you're built for.
Right.
So I just want to walk through some of these decisions and how you're making them, how fast you're making them. Okay.
Let's do it.
So the one that I like, there's this step back like right at the start of it that I love. So here, I'm gonna play it a little bit up here.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
That move right there. Okay. How many times you practice that move?
All the time. All the time.
Now, when did you start be able to pull that shot off like that?
I would say almost 7th grade.
Wow.
Honestly. like
Wow.
7th grade for sure.
I still can't do it by myself practicing. You know what I'm saying? With nobody guarding me, anything of that nature.
Funny.
You're pulling up from 3, right? You're pulling up deep
Yeah.
from 3 on a shot like that. Your defender's turned around the entire way through.
Yeah.
How have you taken that and moved it into the college level? Because now it's a different level of competition, I assume.
Yeah,
so
for
how do
sure.
you still pull off those same moves? But now you got to do them a second faster, a second
Right.
quicker.
Yeah.
How does that work?
I would say, I still do the same moves in college. You just got to master things. Mastering things helps you along the way. But in college, everything has to be more quicker, stronger, and more fluid. Like, I can't mess up on any dribble or it's done, so it has to be perfect. But I would say in college, everything just has to be quicker, and, perfection is the key.
Is that the biggest difference between going from the high school side into the college side of it? Is it just more of like they're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger,
Right.
they're better coached? What's the biggest difference?
It's all of the above, honestly. It really is. And, everybody's D1. Everybody was the best player at their high school. And now they're, on the same team in college. So everybody was the best player from where they're from, And that's probably the biggest thing.
So you go in there and like you said, you have to keep that humble mentality, but they also need to know it's that it factor. You talked about that,
Right.
Kobe. You don't go in scared.
No,
right? No,
never,
you can't.
never.
You can't go in scared.
You can't.
So how do you stepping up to that plate, right? Walking through that journey of stepping up where it's like, okay, these guys are good,
Yeah.
but I'm better.
I feel like I always just wanted to prove myself when I step on the court. Like I see a 5-star, or maybe we're in college and he's like the highest ranked mid-major player. I just want to go at him. I want to guard him. I want to win that game. I want to make sure that we prove that we're better than them. That's the biggest thing.
So part of basketball, obviously, there's losses that come with basketball, right? I'm sure you haven't won every single game,
Right.
And I think that's part of life. You don't win every single day, unfortunately, as much as you want to win every day. But for me, it's about waking up that next day and beating the hell out of the day before,
Right.
Because that's the type of human being that I am. I know that yesterday is yesterday and today is today.
Right.
For you and your team especially, when you go into a locker room after a tough loss, and I remember in high school I played a little bit, just nothing crazy, right?
Right.
But I remember going in, it still sucked. Like you have to look at the coach, looked at my teammates. I'm trying to like pop them up a little bit. Hey, what's going on? Everything good?
Yeah.
And you have to look at everybody's eyes. You as a leader, right? You as that person that has that mentality and that mindset. How do you bounce back, and what do you tell the other guys walking into that locker room?
Everything will be okay. one game at a time. I mean, it's okay to lose sometimes because it's a lesson. Losing is lesson. We watched that Bucks Miami series that just happened. And Giannis got asked by a reporter if the season was a failure, and Giannis gave such a good. I don't know if you saw
promotion.
It or not. Yeah. He was like, every season's not a failure if you lose. MJ played 15 seasons and won 6 championships. So does that mean that 9 other were failures? And that's what Giannis said. And that was something that I have to process myself because I'm really hard on myself, and I get so mad at myself. I get upset with myself, and I think I've been doing a better job of maturing with that. But, walking to the locker room after a loss is very hard, but it's something that you just got to go to the next day. Like you said, you got to wake up the next morning. It's a new day, and you got to approach the next game.
And, the other thing is the coach, right?
Right, yeah.
Having that conversation with the coach, because that coach needs you to step up.
Right.
And, that's what I tell as a leader. We have 200 employees now.
Yeah.
And that means they count on me every single day to wake up.
Right.
That means every single day they count on me to be as great as I can possibly be. And I don't take that lightly. And I take that as like, hey, I am a coach for a lot of these people. And so a lot of them that I built strong relationships with, they don't want to let me down,
right.
Yeah.
But
I also have to hold them super accountable. So for you with your coaches, how have you built relationships so quickly with them? And what do you think is an important piece? Because you see it on, again, back to social media, not to make it about that, but I've seen some players be so disrespectful to their coaches, and I'm like, God, that's just something to me that's so unacceptable.
Right.
So for you, building that relationship with the coach, why is this so important?
I have a lot of respect for my coaches. I mean, just from their background, what they've done in their life, you can't disrespect them, I mean, they've gotten to where they are because of their grind, and I respect it. I respect anybody's grind. And, another thing that comes from the coaches is the competitiveness. Like, no one loves to lose, but we want to win more. Like, and I just, Coach Earl, he's a great coach, and he's competitive, and no matter what he does. I remember we were playing bowling. We were bowling like 2 days ago, and we were playing ping pong, and he's like screaming, getting hot, getting sweaty while we're playing. I'm like, chill out, it's all right, but that's just the type of person he is.
Why do you think he has to have that mentality all the time?
You have to as a coach, as a head coach at a D1 program. I mean, you got to have some competitiveness in your body, to approach every game, to approach every practice, every workout. Everything matters. People don't understand sometimes how difficult that can be. Something I focus on too, like this guy knows behind the camera here. Like, I'll wake up sometimes intentionally. I'll set my alarm for about 2:30 in the morning just to send out an email, just send out a text message, because I want them to know that I'm here. I want them to know that no matter how hard you're going to work, I will outwork you. Right.
And it's not because I want to outwork you, it's because I want to make you better. And there's such a disconnect nowadays where sometimes a coach is coming at the athlete, right? And you see parents who are, oh, what are you doing? That's my son. That's my daughter. How are you talking to them that way? Right. Now, for you, I'm sure you've been roasted by your coaches before.
Yeah.
How do you take that?
I think I take coaching. I feel like I'm a very coachable person. And I could take the yelling, I could take the screaming. I've had some of the craziest coaches, Coach Harrison, but I've had some of the craziest coaches for real, and I've also had some of the coolest coaches, nice coaches, So I think having that balance of the two, I mean, I'm good no matter what. You can yell at me as long as you want. I mean, it's gonna be the same attitude with me, and you could be the nicest to me. It's gonna be the same attitude.
It's funny. I tell people. So I'm first generation. My parents are Middle Eastern. Mom, I love you, but I tell people this all the time. I've been roasted by my coaches. I've been roasted by people in life. You're not gonna yell at me worse than my mom yelled at me. Okay, so I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm not gonna get in more trouble than I was when I was little with my brother. From my dad.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, you're not gonna bother me with this, and I know they're coming from a good place.
Yeah, exactly.
And so with you having your parents, I'll put Dad on the spot a little here. I know he can't defend himself here, so sorry, Dad, on this one. But for you, right, you have your dad influencing on that side of it. How was your dad when the coaches were coming at you? Was he more of like, hey, you got to step up, or was he more of like sheltering?
It was definitely of a supporting cast for sure, but also you have to step up. He has a good balance of knowing how to talk to me, and for 18, 19 of my years of my life, he's known how to do that. But just being there for me and telling me it's gonna be all right, and I got to keep working, and then he'll be like, all right, but you got to do better. Like you can't go in there and mess up. You got to play your game.
And it's pushing those buttons.
Right.
I think that people, when they get to, I think the best coaches are the ones that they know you so well. People don't understand. if somebody pushes your buttons, it's because you have so much love and respect for that person that it bothers you when they give you certain advice or feedback because you don't want to let them down. That is such an important factor with your journey and growing and getting to the next level. So for you now, what do you have your eyes set on? What's kind of that next goal for you? I know it's one day at a time, but like long-term vision, you're looking in, trying to see the future, trying to predict, trying to map out your life. Brody wakes up.
How long in the future are we talking about?
Let's go 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years. For the next 3 years, I want to play high-level basketball. I really do. I want to become...
Say it.
I want to become just the best me, I would say. The best me. And I want to play, in the next 5 years, I want to be a professional basketball player for sure.
I love that so much, man. And the journey along the way, I mean, you just so you know, I didn't know a lot about you, who you were. I've done a lot of research. I want you to know you've gained a fan. Just I'm being honest, man. Just based on who you are as a human being, it's incredible for me to be able to sit in front of you right now and just have this conversation and look into the eyes of another winner, especially you as such a young man. And my mentor taught me. He said, "Listen." I would always try to I want to make impacts here. I want people to like me. He said, stop worrying about that. He said, John, every day all you got to do is focus on one thing. Make one good impact a day. And he said, by the time you look back on your life one day, you're going to have so many supporters of John Haddad, all because you wanted to make one impact a day on somebody.
Hey, that's a good one right there.
Yeah, well, and that's what you're doing right now, man. Just the way you carry yourself is very, very impressive. And I hope you never, ever lose sight of that because it'll make you just an incredible person across the board, which you already are, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. So you want to make it pro, right? You want to make it to the league. And that journey to get there, what are you learning now that you maybe didn't know as much in high school versus now in college about, okay, wait a second, to get to this next level, what extra is required of you?
Everything. It takes everything, countless hours in the gym, countless hours in the weight room, and just playing basketball. Playing basketball is the most important thing, I mean, that's how you get to that level. And, in games, you have to put up numbers, and you have to be one of the best players on the court if you want to go play pro.
So we're wrapping up here. We're coming up on the time. And I usually always end it. And I usually always say, I usually get a picture of somebody when they were like 18. And I always ask them, to walk me through what you would say to your 18-year-old self. Now, for you, 18 was a year ago, so I'm not going to do that, okay? Right. So for you, I'd like to talk a little bit. You talked about the journey with your older brother, right? Pushing you, going through that. And you were talking about playing in the yard. And I think you said, 6th grade, 7th grade? Yeah. Right? So that's what is that, 14-year-old you, 13, 14-year-old you, right?
Yeah, something around there.
So let's just say one day, Brody's back in Houston, and he's walking through a neighborhood, and all of a sudden he sees a young 13, 14 himself, and he sees him playing against his brother in the yard. And you get to go say a couple of words to that young man. What are you going to go tell him?
Just enjoy that moment. I mean, those moments are in the back of my head forever. I mean, I would never forget about any of those things, and I didn't realize how important they were, and I didn't realize how much I really loved it, And
that's carried you into today?
Yeah, for sure.
Brody, listen, man, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for our viewers. This is an incredible human being. This is an incredible young man. And for those of you out there, just ask yourself one question. Are you willing to do everything that it takes to get what you want out of life? Because this young man right here is willing to sacrifice and do all of that for his journey. And for that reason, I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you, sir, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I hope you all have an incredible day. This is another episode of the Early Birds Podcast. Take care.